I'm making a small series of videos where I describe things that I would encourage you to take a look at before you turn your records over for your tax filing. This video is going to focus on the profit and loss, also known as the income statement. Let me show you how to get there, and then I'll talk about a couple of things that you could look at to look for possible mistakes. So let's do this. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to hover over Reports. Then you'll select Standard Reports. In the Favorites box, you'll select the words Profit and Loss. This is the Intuit sample company. Within the Intuit sample company, there's a lot of detail, such as landscaping services with the sub-account of job materials, which has sub-accounts of, you get the idea. It's a bit much, and so I'm just going to do a couple quick things to make it look more typical of what I see when I work with training clients, as well as when I help small business owners. I'm going to start by switching to Classic View. This was on the Modern View. So now I've got the Classic View, and it's very, very similar to what we just saw. The difference is that I have a collapse button here that I didn't have a moment ago. So now I can just collapse it, and I have a profit and loss that'll look real typical to what I'm seeing in my client books. The first thing I want to do is I want to customize it. I want QuickBooks to show me the negative numbers in red. This is going to help me and my over 40 eyes quickly identify if there's any negatives. To do this, I'll select Customize in the upper right-hand corner. I'll then select the box that says Show in Red. So it's going to say negative numbers are shown in red. I'm like, that would be great. Now I have negative numbers in red. What I really want to do is I want to look at my whole year, because I'm looking for anything that might be weird or off or need correction before I turn my records over for taxes. What I like to do is I like to display my columns by, and then I'll change this to months. So then I'll select Run Report. Now I can see the business month over month. I'm looking for anomalies. I'm looking for negatives. I'm looking for anything that doesn't feel right. When you're doing this, there's of course going to be things that you don't see, things that are hidden behind the scenes. This is just you giving it a good look at the summary report to see if there's anything out of place. So we can see that the columns, all of these columns are the different months in the year. This make-believe business didn't have any records before June, so before June it's all blank. This information shows up because the date includes January through May. So I'm going to start by looking for numbers that seem out of place. When I see these negative numbers, my first thought is, oh my gosh, what happened? But then I look at the title and I'm like, oh, that's discounts, of course. I can see pest control services. This has a negative number. That might be something that I would say, gosh, that's weird. Why do I have negative income? If ever you find something and you say, I don't understand why that's like that, you can simply click on the number and get a list of what's happening behind the scenes. When I look behind the scenes, I can see there was a credit memo to the client Amy's Bird Sanctuary. If this was your business and you had issued a credit memo, you would probably remember why. If you saw this was a credit memo and you could remember what happened, you would then identify, this is not a mistake, this is not a problem. If it was something else and the possibilities are unlimited, maybe you'd look at it and say, oh, I might have made a mistake. I should go fix that. So we're just kind of looking to see, is there anything out of place? If there's anything you can fix, go ahead and fix it. Anything that's out of place that you can't fix, make a note of it and phone a friend. It could literally be a friend, could be a bookkeeper in your local community, could be us at Blue Magnolia, could be whomever. Okay, so step one, look for anything that seems out of place, any negatives. So let me scoot down a little bit. Legal and professional fees is a good example of something where you might ask yourself, is this right? So it was $300, then $250, and then it goes down, but then it goes back up. It could be totally correct where contracts were reviewed and then everything was good and then a new contract needed to be reviewed. I'm not saying that the numbers should be the same all the way across. I'm saying that as you look at your records, you should be able to look at it and say, yeah, that makes sense, or, oh, I don't know that we really spent that much. Or even worse, we spent more. Where did I write that down? Because it's not in the right spot. I want you to look at things for logic and just kind of questioning it. So in this case, we have rent expense. There's rent in September, but not before and not after. I've never rented an office where I paid 1 month and then I got the next 2 months for free. This might be the sort of thing you'd look into and say, where is the rest of the rent money? Or did I record this in the wrong spot? I would encourage you just to look at your profit and loss and say, do my numbers make sense? Are they like their neighbors? Are they consistent? Take a look at your accounts. You have these accounts, and a lot of the accounts are standard or set up within QuickBooks, but you have the flexibility to make your own accounts and add accounts to your chart of accounts. Take a look and ask yourself, are there any accounts here that don't belong, that seem silly, that should be corrected? My silly example is that you shouldn't have an account called Coffee Cup. My real example, and this comes up a fair amount, you should never have an account called credit card payments or loan payments. That money should be going to the credit card or to the loan, but not set up as an expense account. So that's it. This is my encouraging you to take a look at your profit and loss, slice it, dice it, give it a stern look, click on any numbers you're uncertain about, make a list of things you might need help with. If it's overwhelming, start contacting people you feel comfortable with and saying, I'm overwhelmed, I need help, and how can you help me? What do you do? Okay, that's it. Thank you. Any questions, just leave them below. If you need us, you can find us at gentlefrog.com or at bluemagnolia.consulting. Okay, thanks. Bye.